YouTube? Sandy Frank here. Today's episode of Hobby Talk. I'm really been thinking about this week, and it's been very tempting to do some certain moves. But the fact is, the Sword and Shield era of Pokemon has blown up, and it's really shocking of the prices that these boxes are going for now. And who knows why they're all of a sudden shot up like this, but it is pretty interesting watching this. And yeah, let's just talk about it. So, and then I'll kind of analyze, after looking at some of these prices, what I think of this situation. So we'll start with the original Sword and Shield set. That set, I just looked up all these prices off of TCG Player. So this is the up to the minute prices of when I'm shooting this video. And I believe I'm posting this video in like a day or two. So this is how nuts it's gotten for the Sword and Shield era. The Sword and Shield base set is now going for $465 for, these are all booster boxes, guys. And I did not include any of the specialty sets. I went with just the core booster boxes from the Sword and Shield era. $465 for the Sword and Shield base set, which is honestly didn't seem like a really strong set back in the day. But you know, it really doesn't matter. There comes to a point with Pokemon where it's just the fact that it's a sealed box. It goes up in price. Doesn't, like, a lot of them do matter what's in the boxes, but even if there's nothing great, the boxes will still go up just because they're hard to get. So the next set that came out was Rebel Clash. Those boxes are now going for $395. I mean, that just shocks me that those are going for that much. That's another set that there's really not anything huge to chase out of that set. These early Sword and Shield booster boxes, they're kind of like setting the framework of the Sword and Shield era, and they're all the big, huge, surprise, exciting cards would come later. So it's really kind of shocking to see these box prices now. The next set was Darkness Ablaze. Of course, that's the set that has the Charizard VMAX. Those are now selling for $248, which kind of almost sounds like a bargain because when you look at some of these other prices. The next set that came out was Vivid Voltage. And guys, when Vivid Voltage came out, there was tons of hype for that set. You had the Amazing Rares. You had Chunky Pikachu. Speaking of Chunky Pikachu, that's your set, buddy. Vivid Voltage. That was before these last couple of sets have come out. Vivid Voltage was the first set that came out where you couldn't just buy booster boxes for $90, $90 to $100. I remember having to pay like $125, $130 for a booster box of Vivid Voltage, but that set has not held up that well. You can buy today a booster box of Vivid Voltage for $212. Interesting. And that is actually a set that has a nice chase card with that rainbow chunky Pikachu. You've got other Pikachu cards as well, and the Amazing Rares. The next set that came out was, this is now in 2021, Battle Styles. So those first four sets came out in 2020, right in the middle of COVID. And in 2021, Battle Styles, that was the first set of the Sword and Shield era to have alternate art cards. And guys, you know how huge alt art cards are in Sword and Shield. So this was the first set that had them, Battle Styles. And Battle Styles, people did not like that set. It seemed like they may have printed a ton of it. Not a lot of people liked it. You didn't hear a lot of people excited about it. It came out at a really rough time in American history. We were dead in the middle of COVID, stuck at home. In fact, it was pretty close to time where you could not send in cards anymore for grading. And the grading situation got, like, it was a weird time in history, especially in card collecting and in Pokemon. Those boxes can be had today for $209. And that's a set that has a really nice chase card, a bunch of alternate art cards, secret rare alt art VMAXs. It's, you know, pretty good. And it has, you know, the Sleepy Tyranitar. But there's that one. All right, the next set that came out was Chilling Reign. This is another set that lots of people did not care for, but it is chock loaded with some pretty nice alternate art cards, and it has started to gain a lot of its appreciation finally in this last couple years. Chilling Reign boxes now going for $440. That is really shocking because it seemed like they were like in the hundreds for a long time, and then they kind of bumped up to over 200, and out of nowhere now they're $440. Yes, and that is a box that I should have stocked up on. I thought I did, but I don't have any. Surprisingly, that's one set that I opened a bunch of, but I just didn't keep any of the booster boxes. All right, the next set that came out is the granddaddy of all Sword and Shield. We have it right here, Evolving Skies. When Evolving Skies first came out, it was kind of like it is now, where you just couldn't get any and you had to overpay a little bit. But back then, overpaying was paying like $130, $140 a box. And then it quickly went up to like $200 or $300, and then there was a reprint, and the box prices dropped back down to $160. And I, thank goodness I made this move. I went in and bought as many boxes as I could when it dropped to $160. And that move has really done well for me, because now these Evolving Skies booster boxes sell for $1,945 a box. Of course, it's got the card of the entire Sword and Shield era, the Moonbryon. You've got all the Eevee. I don't have all the Eevee Evolution VMAXs and alternate arts and stuff, but it's chock full of them. You've got the Dragonite alternate art. You've got Rayquaza alternate art. It's just a monster set. So good. And it'll always, I would be shocked if it's not always the highest price Sword and Shield era set. You know, just because you have that chance of pulling the Moonbryon. Alright. The next set that came out is this one, Fusion Strike. And Fusion Strike, believe it or not, it was really received negatively when it first came out. And it was readily available for under MSRP for a long time. I even remember watching a little shout out here to Cardinal Gaming, to their they would have videos talking about and showing all this Fusion Strike, and like Mason was on there, he was like just complaining about, man, all I can get is Fusion Strike, guys. And it was like that was the set everybody was trying to get rid of, and like the distributors were making people buy a whole bunch of Fusion Strike to get other stuff. And looky here, Fusion Strike now $850 a booster box. Crazy. But it's on the back of the Gengar VMAX alternate art, secret rare, a huge card. You also have the Espeon VMAX alternate art. Lots of great cards. You got some great Mew cards, a Mew VMAX alternate art, Mew alternate art. It's just another monster set. So many great alt arts in that set. I think he even had the Celebi was from that set too. Anyway, great set. And I had a feeling that it was going to go up someday, because, I mean, you have one of the biggest cards from this era is in that set. It's the box prices are going to go up, and it's eventually going to sell out in places. And hopefully Mason kept some boxes and made some money on that, and it wasn't as bad of a deal as he thought to get all these Fusion Strike boxes. Anyway, the next set we're going to talk about is this one. This is now 2022, Brilliant Stars. Okay, so this set, in 2022, they introduced the VMAX, or the V-Star cards, and also trainer galleries, like a subset of the trainer galleries. So you had It seemed like you get a lot of good pulls in Brilliant Stars because of the trainer galleries. You have the alternate art Charizard V, full art card, great card. You have the rainbow, and was there a gold one? I think it was just a rainbow, a regular V Star and a rainbow V Star of the Charizard. You have the Arceus alternate art card. This is a great set, and it is now going for $430 a booster box. And I think in the long run, this is probably going to be like the number fourth ranked box in all the Sword and Shield era. I think it is right now, even. No, it isn't. Actually, Chilling Reign is ranked above that one in price. But I think Brilliant Stars will pass that one up eventually. Just because you have that Charizard. Charizard is collected by so many people, and this is an alt art version of Charizard is in this set. All right, you have Astral Radiance was the next set that came out. This box price really shocks me because it seems like not a lot of people were excited about Astral Radiance, and I don't think it has as good of chase cards in that set as Brilliant Stars, but it's going for $425 a box, just $5 less than Brilliant Stars. But I mean, it has a nice. All these have nice trainer gallery cards in those sets. Just these 2022 sets are really cool, and I think people are going to. They're not going to go after them as passionately as the 2021 sets like Evolving Skies and Fusion Strike, but they're going to be way up there. I mean, it's fun to try and make the trainer gallery sets. It's fun pulling alt art cards. So Astral Radiance, I see, but I think it's getting ahead of itself a little bit. I think it might pull back a little bit on that price. The next set, though, I think is underpriced right now, and it's going for a lot, but it is what I think is one of the best sets of all Sword and Shield, and that is Lost Origin. Lost Origin, man, it's got a nice trainer gallery again. It's got might be the second biggest card of all of the Sword and Shield era with the Giratina V alternate art. I've never been able to get that card. I've opened tons of Lost Origin, never pulled it. I've tried to buy it a billion times, never get my offers accepted, and I always just I should have just bit the bullet and paid for the regular price, but I just couldn't do it. That is a card that's eluded me forever. I'll get it someday. Just you wait. But that is, I think it. I mean, I love the Moonbreon art. This is the second best art, I think, is the Giratina V art. It is pretty stunning, and I can't wait to add that to my collection. Plus, it's got a really cool Aerodactyl alternate art, like a Jurassic Park scene. I love that card too. So that set has some really nice cards to go after in that set. So I think that set in the long run will pass up Fusion Strike. I'm big on Lost Origin, and I actually have like a whole. It's not a sealed case, but I have a case worth like 6 booster boxes of that stuff put away. So yes, of course I'm extra pumped on it, but I should be. It's a great set. Okay, the last one that came out was Silver Tempest. This one really surprised me at this price because it's kind of like the lost, forgotten set of Sword and Shield. Everything was going to, Scarlet and Violet. This was the last set that came out, the last main set that came out that has the yellow borders. Silver Tempest. Those boxes are now going for $363, which sounds like a lot. It sounds like less than like some of these other ones, but believe me, Silver Tempest was not bought up like Lost Origin or Brilliant Stars. So to see that box already up to 363 is pretty shocking. It's got a couple great cards. It's another card that I've never been able to get. super tough to pull. I've opened tons of Silver Temples, never gotten it, and that is the Lugia V alternate art. Another card that I've similar to the Giratina V. I've almost bought it a bunch of times and just thought, it's just too expensive. And then, I should have went ahead and bought it back in the day. But another reason is because I have so much of it. I have several boxes that I feel silly paying a whole bunch for that one single. But, I keep thinking I'm going to pull it someday, but who knows. So, when you're looking at this list, of course, number one is Evolving Skies. I think a few boxes I've sold for $2,000 here and there, but it's the first $2,000 box, of course, of Sword and Shield era. I think Fusion Strike will hit 1,000 at some point. I think Lost Origin will be the next one to hit 1,000 if it does. And then I know a lot of people think a lot of these boxes are going to be over $1,000. The Sword and Shield era, guys, there was a ton of people into Pokemon, and this was a very popular era. So this is like, there's some eras where popularity was waning a little bit, and they didn't make a lot of it because they just weren't selling a lot of it. They sold a ton of Sword and Shield era stuff, and it is still monsterly in demand. People love Sword and Shield, and they should. It's got all these amazing alternate arts. Is a great era, and it's really tough for Scarlet and Violet. Even though they've really been doing good lately, it's going to be hard for the Scarlet and Violet era to measure up to the great Sword and Shield era. But guys, let me tell you. Okay, before I ask for your comments in the comments below, these are the ones I think are, if you're going to buy a couple boxes, these are the ones I would pick up. And I did pick up one of them recently. And that is the Battle Styles, the Vivid Voltage. Those two mainly. They're the two cheapest. Battle Styles even has alternate arts. And it's the cheapest of all of them. There's going to be a point in time where people are looking at all the Sword and Shield sets and are like, why are these so cheap? Those prices are going to go up. And, I think those sets are just too good. Like, Sword and Shield base, Rebel Clash, and Darkness Blaze are kind of weak sets. Vivid Voltage was pretty decent, I thought, with the amazing rares, and you have the Chunky Pikachu Rainbow Rare and stuff like that. You had a real chase card. Battle Styles, I think, is good in retrospect with all these alternate arts. They seem like they're way underpriced compared to some of these other sets, especially when you look at those, like Sword and Shield base set at $465, Rebel Clash $395. Yeah. I kind of want to go pick up a Vivid Voltage box just because I opened a lot of it, and it's only like $60 more than what I paid for when it first came out. Because it was one of those boxes that you could not buy for like $90 when it came out. Anyway, what do you guys think? I think if you really want the Evolving Skies booster box, I think I'd wait. I'd bet you that price comes down a little bit. It seems really high. There's a lot of hype right now on that set. Of the later sets, I still like Lost Origin. I think Astral Radiance is a little high. Silver Tempest is a little. I think those are going to come down a little bit, but yeah, I think the best buys, dollar for dollar, and like if you look, you gotta look at things. Look at them 10 years down the road. Is Vivid Voltage going to be a $200 box 10 years down the road? There's no way. Is Battle Styles going to be a $200 box? Definitely no way. Is Fusion Strike going to be a $1,000 box? Maybe, maybe not. You know what I'm saying? Some of these boxes are already getting up there, but the ones you probably should pick up are the ones that have not gone up yet. And look at it from a long vantage point, like 10 years down the road. Who knows? 10 years down the road, Evolving Skies might be $5,000 a box. These are just, just supposedly, Fusion Strike, it's going to be tough to see how that one. I don't think it can keep up with the Evolving Skies. Lost Origin, I'm pretty sure that box is going to be over 1,000 10 years down the road. But you know what I'm saying. But you have those are already kind of expensive. Where Chilling Reign, or not Chilling Reign, Battle Styles and Vivid Voltage are pretty low. I mean, they're cheaper than the boxes that are coming out the last 3 sets now. You can buy Vivid Voltage and Battle Styles for less than what you have to pay for Surging Sparks, less than Journey Together, less than Destined Rivals, you know, and they're going to be making way more of that stuff than those older Sword and Shield sets. Plus, they're never going to reprint those, guys. Those are done like 5 years ago, you know. This was 2020 when those came out. Anyway, thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more videos. Put down in the comments what you think about Sword and Shield and this recent spike in all the Sword and Shield stuff. You guys have some that you put away. Hopefully you did. And what are your plans with it? I actually threw a box of my Evolving Skies up on eBay, you know, for a really high price. I've gotten a lot of offers on it, but you know, I kind of want to take it back down because I know it's going to be worth a lot more in the future. But, you know, it's tempting to just sell a box. All right, thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more videos. Later.